Hi, everyone. Today is Monday, May the 5th, 2025, and I am so excited about today's topic. Today's topic is the dangers of becoming too comfortable. And I'm just really excited about this topic because I want to share three things that really are dangers of becoming too comfortable. And let me just say this first. I have learned this from experience because there have been times in my life when I have felt like, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, my goal or one of my goals is to become comfortable. Like I hear a lot of people say that, like, I just want to be comfortable and I want to live a comfortable life. And there's a lot to be said for that, right? I want to be financially comfortable. I don't want to have any worries. And I get that. I'm not talking about that kind of comfortable. We all want to be financially comfortable. We want to save enough money for retirement. And we don't want to worry about things like, where's my next meal coming from? How am I going to pay for my insurance or go to the doctor? I'm not talking about that kind of comfort. That's another issue. What I'm talking about is like mental and like achievement comfort. Like I mean comfort associated with doing things in your life and being productive in your life. That's the kind of comfort that I'm talking about. And there is a danger associated with being comfortable in that area, like ceasing to reach for your next level of accomplishment in your life. I'm not talking about getting the next promotion. I just really mean personal development, personally developing yourself, personally reaching for the next level of your life, whatever that may be. And this is different for everyone. Like you may want to read another book to achieve your next level. You may want to try another recipe. You may want to visit another country. You may want to take 10,000 steps next month instead of 9,500, like whatever it is for you, like to kind of just continue to reach beyond your current boundary, whatever that may be for you. That's the kind of comfort that I'm talking about. Okay. So I don't want anyone to get it twisted, like that it's not a good thing to want to be comfortable financially in your life or comfortable in that sense. I'm talking about comfortable in the sense that you become so comfortable that you're not trying to improve yourself or get better at something in your life. That's what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to share with you the dangers, three dangers of that sort of a mindset where you become so comfortable that you're not trying to achieve or advance yourself in any way. All right, there are three dangers. I'm going to talk about those and how we can like overcome them and like not allow ourselves to fall into the trap. And I think it is a trap, like it's a slippery slope to fall into them. Sometimes we don't realize that we're falling into them. Ask me how I know. And then we sort of find ourselves like stuck in this comfort trap and we wonder like, how did I get here? And we have to pull ourselves out of it. And it's difficult to do that because you've kind of lost your momentum by then. You become so comfortable that you've lost your momentum and you have to really pull yourself out. It can be done. Ask me how I know I've done it. But we have to pull ourselves out of it and get our momentum back. So better not to lose your momentum than to lose your momentum and have to give it back. But all hope is not lost. If you have lost your momentum, it's okay because you can get it back. But let's talk about the dangers of losing the momentum and losing and becoming too comfortable, right? Okay. So danger number one is you become complacent, right? You just become complacent in your life. And when you become complacent, you become so comfortable that you become complacent and you think, okay, well, things are good enough now. I've reached this good enough level, and you just kind of stop innovating your life. You stop designing your life. And this is what happens in your business too. You can like stop innovating and stop designing your business and stop seeking feedback and stop seeking constructive criticism, and you settle for average. You settle for average results. And in business and also in life, complacency is dangerous in any level. But in your business, it's dangerous because markets, customers, competitors are always evolving. Like the world is always evolving. So if you're not proactively improving and you're falling behind in so many areas, and you don't even realize it, that's a problem. Like I said, it's a slippery slope and you slide down the slope and you don't even realize it. And one day you're kind of at the bottom of the mountain going, what happened? How did I end up here? So there's a quote that I love: complacency is the enemy of progress. I think Dave Stutman said that, or at least the quote is attributed to him. I've heard it in a lot of different places. But one of the books that I love that sort of points this out, and this is a great book, and it's such a quick read, I think it might be 80 pages long, is a book called Who Moved My Cheese? It's by Dr. Spencer Johnson. And let me just tell you the story because it's so cute. If you don't get to read the book, here's the story. There's four mice and they're in a maze. And every morning they get up and they go to Cheese Station C, where they enjoy all the cheese they want. Okay, so the mice have names, and their names are Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw. So these four mice, every day they get up and they run off through the maze to Cheese Station C, and they have all the cheese they want. But one day they get up in the morning and they run off to Cheese Station C, and there's no cheese there. Like, all the cheese is gone, right? Remember, the world is always changing, and one day you get up and everything's different. No fault of your own, everything's different. There is no cheese there. So what happens? Well, Sniff and Scurry say, wow, there's no cheese here. Let's get up and go find some cheese. So they run off into the maze and they eventually find Station N, where guess what? There's cheese. But they had to run around for a long time to get it. Like, there was a lot of effort put into this, and they were scared and they didn't know what was going to happen next, but they knew they had to eat. They knew that they had to not get, they weren't comfortable. They ran off and they chased through that maze until they found some cheese, and it was at Cheese Station N. But guess what Hem and Haw did? Not surprisingly, they hemmed and they hawed, and they just ran around in circles inside Cheese Station C going, who moved my cheese? Right? Who moved my cheese, right? Who moved my cheese? The cheese is gone. Put back the cheese. Woe is me. Where is all the cheese? They got comfortable. They got comfortable with Cheese Station C, and their mindsets were, put my cheese back. Like, I'm not going to go get any cheese. I'm not going to make any new cheese. I'm not going to learn how to make cheese. I'm going to sit here and worry until somebody puts my cheese back. That's what Hem and Haw did. Well, eventually, Hem said, you know what? I'm tired of this. This is not going to work. Like, I am starving here with no cheese. So Haw, come on. Well, like, Scurry and Sniff never came back. So maybe they found some cheese. Like, let's do what they did and go find some cheese. They're probably somewhere eating some cheese. Let's stop this madness and stop worrying, and let's do something about our situation, right? They said this comfort thing that was not working for us. It's not comfortable anymore. Let's go. So they found themselves in a situation that wasn't working anymore. The complacency is not working. We need to go find some cheese. So Haw refused. Haw was like, nope, I'm going to stay right here. The cheese is coming back. I'm just going to wait for it. And Hem was like, nope, I'm not waiting for somebody to rescue me. I'm going to go find some cheese. So Hem left. And eventually, guess where he ended up? He ended up at Station N. And so every morning, what Hem started to do was he started to leave notes around the maze in the hopes that Haw would eventually see the notes. Like, he couldn't, for whatever reason, find his way back to Station C. Like, he didn't go back there anymore. Like, wasn't on his agenda. He couldn't find his way back there. He remembered how to get to Station N because that's what he had the bandwidth for, because that's where the cheese was. But he left notes for his friend Haw in the hopes that Haw would one day leave that old cheese station where there was no cheese, and he gave him directions to Cheese Station N. But guess what? He never saw Haw again. But he and his friends, Sniff and Scurry, were living it up at Cheese Station N because that's where the new cheese was. So obviously the moral of this story is life changes. things happen and you have to be able to keep up. And if you get so comfortable that you think your cheese is always going to be where you thought it was, and one day it's not there, and you don't adapt, you don't change, you don't figure things out for yourself, guess what? You're going to get left behind, and you're going to be like poor Haw, wringing his hands and hoping that somebody rescues him, and it never happens. So I've just told you the whole book, but it's worth reading yourself one afternoon. It's probably available at your local bookstore or on Amazon. I will post a link below to my Amazon bookstore in case you want to grab it. It's really good. It's probably available on Audible as well. Okay, so that's the first reason. You become complacent like Haw and you don't have any cheese and you wait for someone else to rescue you, and that is just not going to happen. Okay, so number two, you inspire yourself less, right? You actually become less of an inspiration for your own self. Like, who wants that to happen? So comfort reduces your sense of possibility and inspiration for yourself. When you're not pushing your own boundaries, you're less likely to discover and experience new passions, new ideas, new fun things that you like to do in your life. And this reduces your internal light bulb. It reduces your internal glow. It reduces your internal spark of excitement. And when that happens, it's just not good. Not too long ago, someone said to me, all my whys have expired. And I was like, what does that mean? And he said, all my whys have expired. Like throughout his life, he had articulated to himself his dreams in each decade of his life. He had certain things that he wanted to accomplish. He wasn't complacent. He wasn't comfortable. He had a list of things in his 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. He was in his 60s when he said this to me. And certain things did get accomplished. He did achieve certain goals in his 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and his 50s. But when he got to 60, there were certain things undone. And those things, he thought in his 60s, he was too old to accomplish those things. Like the time for those things to get done had passed. The whys had expired. The undone things, the time had passed. So they were no longer on his list. They had expired. He'd given up on some of his own dreams simply because of his age. Now, maybe I don't know if like becoming an all-star pro NFL quarterback was on the list. Certainly, probably not going to happen, right? But that wasn't the kind of thing that was on his list. It wasn't. And I was so sad for him. Number one, if that sort of a thing was on his list, that's not going to happen. But I think at a certain stage in your life, you just replace those whys with new whys. You create new things that you want to do, right? If you're not going to become the world famous athlete that you thought you were going to become, then maybe you can, if you really love that sport, maybe you can volunteer as a coach, right? Maybe you can teach other people how to do those things. You may not become the Food Network star, but that doesn't mean you can't have your own cooking show on YouTube. Doesn't mean that at all, right? So you can still pursue your passion. You can just massage it a little bit so it can become a different sort of reality for yourself. But if you stop inspiring yourself and you say, well, all my whys are expired, I'm all washed up. Like, what kind of message does that send to yourself? It leaves you feeling stuck and bored and disconnected, not just from the world, but also from yourself. So when you become comfortable and say your whys have expired and everything is over, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, and I'm not trying to like judge someone else's life. I'm just saying, if you become so comfortable that you're not inspiring yourself anymore, however you want to describe that, it's an issue. And things just stop working and you stop inspiring yourself. So Abraham Hicks said, if you're not excited about it, it's not the right path for you. So if you're not excited about something, it means that you need to think about not doing that thing and start doing something else. And I know this personally too. After being in business for 25 years, there are certain things, certain aspects of business that don't excite me anymore. I love my business, but there are certain things that I need to stop doing and certain things I need to start doing in order to maintain my passion about business, because things just do not stay exactly the same for a full quarter century. They just don't. That's a reality of life. So you have to massage things and tweak them a little bit so you can stay excited about them. That's just like reality of life. So a book that I could suggest for you to think about this topic and this aspect of this is The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. And that book talks about how we are always kind of warring with ourselves and breaking through internal barriers and internal resistance. He calls it the resistance to get through the things that we have to get through to keep our internal drive lit, like the flame inside of us, to keep it lit. It's a war. It's a war to continue to be internally, like keep the battery going and to keep ourselves wound so that we don't become complacent, right? And become so comfortable that we stop pressing forward. So that's the second danger of becoming too comfortable, is that we basically just stop inspiring ourselves. Okay, and the third danger is that we stop challenging ourselves. We stop challenging ourselves. I have so many conversations with people who don't set new goals for themselves. And again, look, do you? Everybody should do themselves, and everybody isn't wired the same way, and I totally get that. However, it's so important to not become so comfortable that you stop doing new things, that you don't challenge yourself. I go to my fitness gym of choice, and the way I work out of choice for me is Burn Boot Camp. And one of the sayings that written on the wall at pretty much all the Burn boot camps is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And I think about that when I'm at the gym. Like, I see that in huge letters on the wall. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So if I'm at the gym and we're doing a certain exercise and I've got a certain weight and I feel like it's too easy, then, sometimes the trainer from across the room will say, that looks way too easy for you, Donna. You need to level up and pick up a heavier weight. And they'll be right. He'll be right about that, because if it looks like I'm swinging the weights around, and I'm not challenging myself, and I don't even look like I'm struggling or challenging at all, not struggling to hurt myself, don't do that, but struggling to, like, if the challenging exercise that we're doing in that 60-second period of time, I should be able to do 20 reps and I'm doing 40 with that weight that I'm holding. Well, chances are the weights are too light, and I'm able to do 40 reps when challenging myself should only be able to get 20 done. Well, think about that. I'm not challenging myself. I'm just going through the motions to get it done. Well, that's not really helping me. It's not. I'm not helping myself. So muscles only grow when they're stressed, right? And so there's a bad kind of stress, but there's also a good type of stress. I talk to my son about this sometimes. He's an athlete. He's a college athlete. He's a Division I football player. And while they're not exactly elite athletes, they're elite athletes in training. There's a certain level of athleticism that he has to maintain in order to play that sport. So he tells me about something called time under tension. And that is when you expose your muscles to tension for a certain amount of time, the muscle strength improves. So you obviously have to be aware of your physical limitations and your age and so forth. I do not want to put my muscles under the amount of tension for the same amount of time that my son does. Like, he's 21, I'm older than that. I would never do that. However, for an appropriate amount of time, a certain amount of tension is good for me. Right? It's good for me. You want to stress your muscles out in an appropriate fashion so that you can continue to be strong. And as we age, we don't want to take a fall and not know how to fall. We don't want to fall and risk injuring ourselves more than necessary, because a fall for a person of a certain age can be deathly. Like it can kill you. So you want to maintain your muscle strength for as long as you can. So challenging yourself and your brain and reading and walking and lifting weights or doing whatever it is that you can to challenge yourself, it's uncomfortable. Like going to the gym, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to step up there. I don't want to pick up those weights. It's uncomfortable. I want to sit back and have a cup of coffee and eat a bonbon. Like that's what I want to do. But I know that I need to do what's uncomfortable so that when I'm done, I can be comfortable later. Right? So muscles only grow when they're stressed. Your brain only learns when it's actually learning and not sitting around just, taking in 10 hours of Netflix at a time. Your business brain is the same. If you have a business, it's the same thing. It's got to be constantly, regularly challenging, not 24 hours a day, but just with some regularity and consistency. So when we avoid doing hard things, we miss out on learning, resilience, leadership opportunities, and so forth. So the best version of ourselves is only created when we challenge our comfort zone. And when we're not sitting in that comfort zone all the time. So there's a quote that says, life begins at the end of your comfort zone, or at least just, toward that barrier, right? So think about that when you're thinking about being comfortable and the definition of comfort, right? We don't want to be uncomfortable all the time. Certainly, I want to go to the beach and kick back and hang out with my family and not be stressed out. There are definitely times for that, and we need those down times. But in order to push our lives forward and continue to be productive, we have to be outside of our comfort zone sometimes. And we have to make sure that we are not constantly in comfort, just like we have to make sure that we are not constantly in discomfort. We've got to integrate both in order to be able to move forward. So again, the danger of becoming too comfortable. There are three of them, what we're talking about here. Number one, you become complacent. Number two, you inspire yourself less. And number three, you challenge yourself less. So just keep in your mind, scurry, sniff, hem, and haw, right? We want to be like scurry, sniff, and maybe hem. Like hem took a little while. He was a little slow on the trigger, but he eventually got there. Right? So if you're not scurry and sniff and you figure it out really fast, that's okay. But don't starve. Like Ham eventually was like, okay, enough of this. I'm not going to starve. Right? But poor Haw, apparently he never figured it out. Don't be Haw. Be sniff, scurry, or hem. But don't be Haw. Right? Okay. So those are the three dangers that I want to talk to you about of becoming too comfortable. So I want to know what you think about this. Do you think about these things? I think about these things. And then as I think about them, I'm like, okay, I don't just want to think about them and talk about them on my YouTube channel. I want to make sure that I am like listening to myself and then challenging myself to take action and not just be blah, 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 right? Just talking, like do as I say, not as I do. Like when I learn these things, I actually do them. And I take the chances and I take the risks and I put myself out there. I do this mainly in my business and in my personal life too. Like I went to the gym this morning and I did some exercises that I did not like doing. I did burpees. Like, do you guys know what burpees are? We can talk about burpees later. I do not like the burpees. I do not like them, but I did them. And you know what? I work out with people that do like extra burpees. I modify all the burpees because I can't do the burpees the way the 30-year-olds do the burpees anymore. I can't. But I can do a modified version of the burpees. And I kill the modified versions of the burpees. I do. But I don't not do them because I know they're good for me. They do pull me out of my comfort zone. And I do complain when I start. But I don't complain while I'm doing them. Something sort of seems to take over. I just want to get it done. And the other thing too is I'm surrounded by other people who are also moving outside their comfort zone. And when you are surrounded by other people who are challenging themselves and moving outside their comfort zone in a community, guess what happens? It's easier for you to do it yourself. So I encourage you to find community of other people that are also refusing to become so comfortable in their lives that they're not moving forward in their lives. Find that community, either online or offline, so that you're not alone. Because it's so much easier to do all these things when you're not by yourself. And today, with the internet and digital platforms, it's not hard to find those communities so that you are not going it alone. I encourage you to do that. And if you want to be in community, to not go it alone, as you challenge yourself and just keep pushing yourself forward in your life, whether you're a business owner or not, that doesn't really matter. Like just living life right here at the Lifestyle CEO channel, I'm here for you. We can do this together. Post in the comments and let me know what you think. How can I support you? How can we do this together? I am here for it, and I will see you tomorrow.